Hi, this is Julia from Teacher Julia's Resources at Teachers Pay Teachers. Today I want to show you more about the historical fiction picture book unit that I put together for grades 3 to 5. This is one of my favorite units because you are able to teach history while teaching students how to write. And it is just a really fun unit. This includes a table of contents where it tells you what the lesson is with the objective, the materials you need, and then the page to find it on. So for example, this is how a lesson is laid out. You have the day, you can write in the date that you'll teach it, the objective, steps to teaching the lesson, and then the materials that you need. The materials that are included. So for example, this lesson calls for Teacher Web 2 plus the teacher outline of a story plan with the planning page. In this unit, I include what I'm talking about here, Teacher Web, is a teacher writing example. So what that means is I include it here what you need to put in your writer's notebook. So if you're teaching Lucy Calkins Writers Workshop, you know that you students work in a writer's notebook. And so that's what we have here. So here we have the teacher's web, and I transfer it into the notebook. And down here I write, think aloud. So while I'm creating this web for my students as part of my teaching, I'm explaining to them what I'm thinking and why I'm writing what I'm writing on my notebook. This unit also includes a story map that students fill out. So what it would be is students would get one that looks like this, blank. You have this on the side and you are planning with them throughout the whole unit. So it's not all one lesson, this whole thing gets completed. It's broken down into pieces to make it easy for students to follow along. Lots of lessons that go through all of the steps in the writing process. Another teacher example. One thing I created here that I really like is something called partner checks. What it is students get together and they check each other's writing by having one student read his or her work to another student while that partner is checking to see is there a setting and a problem, and then say what the problem is. Okay, that's the first partner check. The second partner check is, does your partner have rising actions and a climax? What's the climax? And then after a few more lessons, you have partner check 3, where students are checking for falling actions and ending, and then they say what their favorite part of their partner's story is. By now, the draft is complete and we move on to revising. One of the lessons I include is part of the revision process being a way to show readers the time period. So this is just an anchor chart that helps teach students how to show their audience when their story is taking place. And then we go through, here's an example of how that's done. So this is the teacher writing example with a post-it that you would end up making during the lesson. All explained step by step, extremely easy to follow, lots of fun to teach. Kids really, really enjoy it. Now, skipping through a bunch of lessons, I also include a sketch page. Since they are making a picture book, this is where students sketch out their picture and then have what they're going to be, the text that will be with that picture. I also have included a rubric. This is where students, as well as the teacher, get to look at what was taught and respond to how well they think they did. And everything listed here was taught in the unit. So I wanted to show you also an example of how I do this, and an example of a sort of finished product. I wasn't able to get a student's finished products. They always take them home. But what we do is we create a hardback book with some cardboard, tape, construction paper, and then their story inside. Okay, now this is the story that I include you end up writing a whole story in front of students. And so I've included an actual whole story that I wrote for the time period of World War II. This student chose to do the time period during segregation and civil rights movement. And this is just an example. I was able to copy her work and just staple it together. And this is just an example of something that a student had put together at the end of this unit. Parts of it's written as a journal. She has her illustrations and everything that was included in the lessons she included in her work. Again, you can choose to decide how you want students to put together their books, or you could do the hardback like I did and just research fun ways to do that, or simply have them stapled together, making a fun cover. Completely up to you. But that is the historical fiction picture book unit. If you have any questions, please email me at teacherjuliasresources@gmail.com. Thank you.